Yards away. Right, Chris, you called for a Basingstoke Town fan, and James is here. James has been watching the team today. Good evening, James.
Hi, James.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, very well. Talk us through what's going on then, James, and I hope we've kind of, got it right at the top of the show. You tell us what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, firstly, fantastic 3 points today. 2-1 win. So the team played fantastic, but I suppose about the club and what's going on. Firstly, it's really, really important to understand we are now a community-owned club, so we're owned by the community and run for the community.
Right.
And the situation we're in at the moment is our former owner, I would characterise it as holding the club to ransom as part of a property deal, which is why we've been kicked out of our stadium at the start of the season. So that's kind of where we are right now. And we really need the support of people like Sports England, the Basingstoke Council, to kind of help us get into a situation where we can get back into a stadium back in Basingstoke and playing football for the community there.
So how did this situation come about then, where the owner put the stadium up for sale?
Yes.
Then?
So the former owner is a guy called Rafael Razak who bought the club and was very, very helpful many years ago. He then bought the ground as well from the club, so he owns the club but does own the ground. He wants to build some property on there, and so has kicked the club off. And the situation at the moment is there does exist a covenant which said that Basingstoke Town should play football on that ground until 2053. That's written down, but the situation is really murky with him being both the landlord of the ground and also the owner of the club. So it's a really dark and kind of seedy tale in terms of really it's the owner, in my opinion, just looking to fill his own pocket.
Yeah, but I mean, and what is the feeling in the town then with the owner and, and looking at, I mean, I suppose supporters are looking at his intention when he first took over then?
I think right now the community is incredibly frustrated, and I think it's embarrassing that a town of the size of Basingstoke doesn't have a football club playing in that town. People are having to travel half an hour down the road to watch us in Winchester, and because of the situation we're in, we don't have our own ground, so we don't have any revenue streams. So we're doing everything on a shoestring, and the team is playing fantastic football, but as you'd expect for a team with no money, we're struggling, and really we need to get back into Basingstoke, get back in our own ground, whether that is the Camrose Stadium or whether that is the former owner putting up the money to move us into a new stadium.
So James, as it stands at the moment, what is the next step in this process then?
I think that's part of the problem. No one knows. I think the situation is simply about the former owner, having as much pressure applied to him as possible, because the situation is very clear. For him to get the planning permission on the ground that he wants, he needs to provide mitigation funds so that we can have a new home. Also, the community still has a football stadium in it. And right now, he seems to be doing nothing. And in the background, he's dug up the pitch at the old stadium, so we can't move back there. He's also been selling parts of the stadium on eBay. And we're in a very difficult situation.
So, just finally, James, what would be your, if you could chat to him now, what would you say?
I think what I would say to him is to be true to his word. He's always said he won't let the club die, and right now he's killing the club.
Right. Okay, James. Very strong. And thank you for the call. James is a Basingstoke Town fan, and that was his message. They play in the
It's a very good call, and you can hear the frustration.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only read what I've read about this story.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds pretty shocking, isn't it? I mean, Basingstoke's a reasonable sized town, and you have your football club, your heart being ripped out of the town. Yeah,
and we should stress as well, Chris. I mean, that was very well explained. That is one side of the story. If the former owner is listening to the show tonight and wanted to call us and give his side of the story, then he'd be very welcome to do so. 08085 909 693, and on the text.